Hello there, Miss Reed. Thank you so much for choosing me to do a internet reading for you. Right now I'm just clearing the cards to get ready to take a peek at your question. Thank you everybody else for stopping by to check out my reading style. If you would like to get one of these very, very, very affordable internet readings, these are only $6. You certainly can do that. You can find out how to do that on my website. I also offer private readings, 1 question or 2 question pre-recorded readings or live readings. And then I also have weekly overviews that are on demand, and I have yearlies that are on demand, starting with Libra. Those are new. I'm just starting to put those out, so the next ones to come out will be Scorpio, since we're going into Scorpio's sun time pretty soon. And so all of that information can be found on my website, www.amista.info, amista.info. On top of that, I do addiction relief services as well. And besides that, I also offer locally, in other words, within a nice 2-hour drive of Golden, Colorado, I offer psychic parties where I can read for you and your clients, or I can facilitate while you and your clients explore your own psychic abilities. And also I offer house clearing. So if you have a house that has been sitting on the market, you're trying to sell it and it hasn't been moving, I can certainly come in and help speed things up. And then as far as if you have things going on in your house that you would rather not have going on, that are of a spiritual nature, whether it's how your energy and your moods are being influenced or whether it's physical things going on, you can call me and I can come in and help with that. And all of that information also is on my website. And house clearings are for local. So, first card already popped out for you, Ms. Reed, while I was talking. So let's get on with your reading. Ms. Reed wants to know, what does her career direction look like in the next few months? And then she says, let me know if you need more information. There's background information on this, but I didn't know if you wanted it or not. Thanks. So, typically I don't ask for background information if you just ask a 1 question reading or a 2 question reading. A lot of times that background information will sort of come out or be implied anyway. And then also the important thing to know whenever you're talking to somebody like me, if they're really good, we don't have to know the background information. What we're doing is we're taking your question and we are coming back with the answer. We're not analyzing it. It's not an answer that comes out of us. It's an answer that comes from somewhere else. So in my case, I check in with Sacred Spirit. So Sacred Spirit already knows all the background information and knows, the best answer. So it's just up to me to interpret. Now, there is a little caveat there that you need to know. When I don't have background information, then it's a little bit more difficult for me to put things into context because there is no context. And so what I'm going to tell you is going to be kind of general and wide open, which means that you're going to have to sort of figure out what pieces fit where into this answer. And usually, most of my clients can do that pretty easily. And, so I don't think that will be a problem at all. I think you'll pretty much understand whether I do or not at the end of this question. That should make sense to you. That usually works out pretty well. It's always been my agreement with Sacred Spirit that I don't need to know all the details or everybody's dirty laundry or, all the little nitnoid facts, as long as I can tune into Spirit and get you the answer that you need to have. So that's kind of how I work normally anyway. Let's see here. I mean, a lot of people do give me background information and it makes them feel better, and that's fine. I don't tell them that they can't, but that's really not necessary. If you have a good psychic, you shouldn't have to do that. All right, so enough of the soapbox. Let's get on with the answer to the question. What does career direction look like in the next few months? So next few months, I'm going to call that 3. I've always kind of thought of a few as maybe like 3 months or 3 whatever. It's more than a couple and less than a lot. So I'm going to call this the next 3 months for a time frame here, and I had already actually decided that before I started putting the cards down. So Spirit knew. It's all good. Let's see what we have. We've got 5 cards down. What you've got really quickly, if you're a tarot reader, I'm going to give you the rundown because you may get another message as well from these cards besides what I get. Many times, if you happen to read the tarot, then your message that comes through to you as well as your reader's message will apply. So I think that's helpful. So anyway, 6 of Cups, King of Cups in reverse, the Star in reverse, 10 of Swords in reverse, and the 7 of Wands in reverse. So some interesting cards coming up here. The 6 of Cups tells me that you may be doing right now, or you may be considering going back to some kind of work that's similar to what you were doing before. You may be thinking about going back to a company that you worked for before. You may have just gone back to a company that you worked for before. Or you may be going back to some kind of work that you used to do, or you may be just keeping your work the same too. I've seen this card show up for people who are doing the same thing as they've always done. It's something familiar. So anyway, it's something familiar that you're considering going back to or that you are doing right now. I do think if you're considering it, I do think that you will be going back to whatever this is that's familiar feeling to you, whether it's the same company, same type of work, wherever that falls for you, okay? We've got the 9 of Cups in reverse. This is telling me that even though you're going back to this, I don't feel like you're happy with it. 9 of Cups right side up does talk about celebration. And we've got a 9 of Cups in reverse, and then I've also got the message, there's nothing to celebrate here. This is kind of saying, okay, I went back into this old thing really more out of necessity than out of what I want to do, okay? So that's what we have coming up for maybe the next month or so. And then once we get into about a month and a half, then we've got that Star card in reverse showing up. And that's telling me that where you're not so happy about where you are right now or what you're getting into, the Star card in reverse to me feels like an improvement from that space. So I think you're going to start to find other opportunities that fit your goals, your desires, your plans better. I don't feel like this is, because it is in reverse, I don't feel like you're moving into a new position or with a new company, or that, you know, you're changing your career. If this is your own business, I don't feel that full transition being made, but I do see you coming into a point where there's light at the end of the tunnel. So if you have resumes out in an industry that you would like to switch over to, or at companies that you would like to switch over to, this is getting some response from those, okay? If you're doing prototypes or tests about a new product or a new service for your own business, this is getting back some positive feedback and starting to see how you can really take this and move it forward. Wherever this falls for you. Like I said earlier, you know, I don't have context, so I'm trying to give you ideas of how this might fall in different types of contexts. But this is an improvement of where you were before. I feel like where you were at the beginning, or, you know, right now in this reading, early in this 3 months, is doing what you need it to do, or at least mostly doing what you need it to do, but it's not happiness making. I feel like now when we start to get into this month and a half from now, and you're getting some response off of resumes or prototypes or whatever it is that you've got out there, you know, maybe you just asked for a promotion or a lateral move, whatever it is that you have out there that you're changing or wanting to change, I feel like you're starting to see how that could actually be a possibility and how it could manifest. You're seeing just the very first stages of moving towards that, okay? The next card that we have coming up is the 10 of Swords in reverse. To me, this is saying that, you know, whatever were the first inklings of this change coming in, it's not over, that this is a process. And it may be, and we're looking at probably the end of 2 months, maybe even 2 months and a weekend to our time frame here. But I think that, you know, maybe you got that glimmer of light, that hope that, okay, I can see how this could go forward in the direction I want it to now. Yay, woohoo. And then with this Ten of Swords in reverse, I feel like you got that, and then things just kind of they just kind of came to a halt. So maybe you had some interviews and you felt like they went really well, and then next thing you know, nobody's calling you and you're not hearing anything. Or, maybe everything went well with your prototype, and then you realize that it's just not economical to produce it the way you had in mind, or whatever. Okay, so now with the Seven of Swords in reverse, that idea is coming back. So you're now hearing from those places where you interviewed, if you were interviewing somewhere, if your prototype did well, but there's some kind of reason why it's not moving forward. Now you're seeing the solution to that and how to be able to make it move forward anyway. So this card basically is saying it ain't over till it's over. The fat lady has not sang yet, if you're familiar with that old saying. So, and I don't even know where that comes from. Now I'm thinking maybe I shouldn't have said that. That's not even a nice saying. Isn't that funny how we grow up with stuff for years and years and years, and all of a sudden it hits us like, what does that mean anyway? Okay, so anyway, let's get back to your reading. Weird that I had that little diversion there. Anyway, it's not over yet. Things are being revitalized and revised. Things that you thought were over, like because you hadn't heard about the interview, or you thought, well, I have no way of making this in an economical way, and you just thought it was an idea that you just had to put on the shelf, it's coming back, okay? It's coming back, and you're moving forward. Ultimately, at the end of the 3 months, what we have is the Seven of Wands in reverse. This is one of those cards that, in this particular case, it's better in reverse than right side up. To me, what I'm feeling like here is you're coming into a safe enough place that you don't have to defend your territory at this point. Things are going well. So where before you were kind of standing your ground with whatever's going on right now. You were standing your ground financially. You were keeping that job that you weren't necessarily liking, but you did have these other things going out as well, okay? So now I feel like, you don't have to stand your ground so much. I feel like you've got new opportunity that comes in. I feel like at the end of 3 months, you are going to be either on the verge of beginning this new thing that you want to begin, whether it's working for a different company or doing something new in your own company, whatever that is. You'll either be on the verge of whatever this is, or you will be actually doing whatever this new thing is, and you're going to be feeling very confident with it. You're not going to feel like I have to protect this or I have to stand my ground. You're just going to be feeling like this is what it is and it's fine. I don't even have to protect it. Now, some people would take I don't have to protect it like it's worthless, it's not worth protecting. Not at all. I feel like this is so solid that it doesn't need to be protected. Okay? So I think that you are wanting to make a transition. To kind of summarize, you're wanting to make a transition right now, and you're kind of stuck doing the same old, or you're working for the same old, whatever that case may be for you. And I think once you get a month and a half out, you're going to start to see some glimmers of hope of how you can get into that transition that you really want to roll into. And then it's going to move slowly. I think it feels very slowly to me when I feel into you. When I'm looking at this time frame, it doesn't really look that slow to me, but I know that it feels like it's taking forever because you really are not happy with what's going on at the beginning of our time frame. But it is going to be rolling in. And by the time we get to the end of 3 months, I feel like you're going to be on the verge of starting that new thing that you want to do, or actually just beginning at the end of 3 months. So thank you so much once again for choosing me, Ree, and allowing me to showcase my abilities here and answer your question all at the same time. I hope that you find this quite helpful, and I'm going to wrap this up now and get you the link. Thank you.